Hello all, I am Andrew Woodruff and I race for Team Dayton Cycling. This is the Grandview Category 4-5 Criterium on June 18th, 2018. I started my GoPro about a lap late, so we have already completed the first lap. I was able to get a front row starting spot, which was nice. As you can see here, I'm about 10 places back right now. Going into this lap. So this was a fast 30-minute crit. The average speed was 26.5 miles an hour. If we average 65 on a bicycle, that'd be cheating. But yeah, 26.5 miles an hour. And the final sprint topped up to about 38 miles an hour. Corner 1 and corner 2 is pretty dicey. You come into both corner 1 you come into it with a lot of speed, and really have to brake, and in a group of people it can be challenging. You just never know who can actually take an appropriate line and who's going to keep the bike upright. Then everyone loves the sprint out of corner 1 into corner 2, and then again slam on the brakes to corner 3 that we're going into now is pretty open, but you do have a couple reflector strips out there right in the center of the corner, which I don't think anyone went down on, but they could get a little dicey. And then corner 4 I'd say is the safest, although as you'll see later maybe not, but nice wide open. This section, the finishing straight here, is a gradual downhill, about 1% to 2%, and then same way with the other side coming back up. You've got just a gradual incline of 1 to 2%.
Patrolling this race right now.
In this race, you had a couple different teams represented with several members. Team Headwind, which you'll see quite a bit up here near the front. They had I think 5 or 6 guys, looking quite strong too. So I was pretty wary here at the beginning. I think they've got guys 1st, 3rd, and 5th, and I think there's probably 1 or 2 right behind me. So if any point any wheels start opening up, I'm really looking to cover some, because I think they're probably strong enough to let 2 guys go and then control the race. So if I could get into a breakaway with 1 or 2 of their riders, that I thought that would be a smooth sailing opportunity from there. As far as other teams, there were a couple Team Audi riders, a couple Queen City Wheels racers. My team, I had 3 other teammates, and like Team Phoenix had 2 guys, and there were a handful, probably 4 or 5 teams, Happy and Healthy Racing, that had 2 guys in here. So just looking to see any big moves, anybody trying to shake up some stuff early. It was about 85-86 degrees, and see this situation where this guy here with the pink socks and helmet, Levi, where he attacks, and I know that he's a really strong racer, so my goal was to definitely cover that move right away, in hopes that his team would let him and I just ride off the front. But for some reason, Levi attacks, and I believe there was one of his teammates on the front, who just starts drilling it. And I look back right in there and say, alright, they're all pretty much on our wheel. They brought the pack with us, so when he goes to pull off up here, I'm not pulling through. There's no need. The rest of the group's here. So and then his teammate counterattacks, and everyone's kind of looking around, and you can hear us getting a little vocal as one of their guys is yelling, "Let him go," and I'm yelling, "No, don't let him go." But the happy and healthy guy there tries to bridge, and so this guy wants in on the action, and I'll take that as my draft on up the road. And that kind of dragged out pullback. We obviously did not get any separation from the field, so the we're all still together, sitting on the front. In here, I'll just roll through. I've got no interest in actually going, but I'll just keep the pace up a little bit. And I don't want to get swarmed too much because there's still, we're only 4 laps in. There's still a lot of guys who might try to sprint down this back straight and make up some good positioning. So to keep myself at the front, I figured I'd spin just a little extra effort and make sure I stay there. So here we go in 2 wide. I think I got a guy to the inside. Yeah, so we're almost 3 wide. Going through that. I think we do at one point or another go through like 3 wide, and it can get kind of sketchy. And at this point, like, we had been going up this back stretch at about 25 to 26, and here we're going up at about 22. For some reason, this guy's trying to cut in. Not exactly sure why, but as you can see, the pace slows off, and we start to get swarmed from everybody on the left side. So you can just see handfuls of guys moving up. So I went from what was 3rd or 4th wheel to now 15th to 20th or so. And how your positioning in a kart race can change so quickly. That guy went for some high fives from the crowd. Probably don't recommend that normally, but here we go. And bam. So I was able to watch somebody else's video on that crash, and it looks like the first guy to go down just doesn't turn enough and starts really drifting outside, and then clips the wheel of a headwind rider. I have to assume that he clipped his wheel, and then he just flops outside. It looks like he only took one other guy with him, but there was definitely a lot of brake squealing and skidding. And I'm lucky I didn't go down at all or get involved. I did lose a handful of positions though, as people rode up the inside. Although the pace has slowed down quite a bit, we weren't drilling it after that. Everyone, I think, was kind of a little like, whoa, all right, we need to back off for a second, and then just put the power down here on the straightaways and not go so as aggressive in the corners. Although corner 4 was pretty wide open, so I would hardly say we were going through aggressively. So at this point, after several laps, we've had a lap or two now since that wreck. I am just trying to get a feel for how the race is still going to go. You know, we are looking to be a little over halfway through. I think we're about 15-16 minutes in, give or take. And the group is staying a little bit together. So I see this guy kind of trying to move up the outside, and then he gets pinched. And up here in the next corner, he comes in and takes a pretty bad line through. He tries to cut in, but he hits the brakes really hard, and you can see we lose, you know, 4 or 5, 6 bike lengths or more because of that move that he tries to make. And so that was an instant, alright, never following that guy through a corner again. If you see something like that happen in one of your races, you just gotta say, alright, don't follow his wheel. And so when I get up here, I instantly go around him, because I'm like, alright, gotta get out in front of him, don't want to be behind him at all, because if he does that, if it's not me having to cover that gap, it's somebody else having to cover that gap, but I still have to make up that effort. So I know that the race will be easier for me if I am ahead of him, barring he's not going out sprinting on his own, you know, trying to make up monster spots, which I think he probably like sprints down this back straightaway again, trying to make up spots. So here I am, just trying to make up a few spots, and then I'm kind of getting pinched a little bit because this guy wants to stay out. So I'll let him go through, and it gives me then room behind. Because with the feet of those barriers, you gotta be careful not to get pinched into them, because you'll clip one of the feet of the barriers and boom, you'll go down and take some guys with you, and that will be the end of your race. Ooh, and that guy clips a pedal through the corner here. So now he clips a pedal. We're all sketchy out here. And at this point, these guys are hooting and hollering. It's got a little feisty. So we're coming down the finishing straight here again, and again we've got some more guys that keep trying to move up on this right side, and the guy here in blue, he's not a fan of people trying to do this to him. I don't know, it's racing, people come up the outside, it's whatever. But it's just like the constant yelling and stuff was getting a little much, and luckily his teammate comes back here and yells at him, and actually his teammate makes him go to the front, And, you know, guys hoot and holler in a race, it's whatever. Keep it clean, keep it classy, and we'll all race again next weekend, you know. But at this point, we're pushing pretty far here into the race. We've still probably got 5 or 6 laps to go, though. And in general, there's just no signs of anyone trying to make any moves. The pace has been really high. Last year was a really hard race, and then this year's race was even about a half a mile an hour faster. So the pace is just pinned, and I don't think anyone's really got any legs to actually make a move. We're so strung out and have been for so long, you know, that we're just so single file that trying to go from the pace never slowed up, barring other that crash early on. And there, that last corner too, we took a little slower, but just the pace never slows. And I don't know on this course if that's just because it's such a short course, with the 4 corners, that people don't feel like they have time to make a move, with all the accelerating and deaccelerating. I mean, I guess there you can see there's a gap of 4 or 5 bike lengths to 2 guys. Let's see, are these lapped riders? Yeah, okay, never mind, that gap was 2 lapped riders, is what it appears. That guy pulls off over in the grass. He just gave up, jumped into the grass. So we're back here with 2 laps to go. So we've got 2 laps to go, and we're sitting in a pretty good spot because the pace has just been so high that you'll start to see guys that'll really flick off when we hear 1 to go. Basically, the floodgates will open and everyone will just go absolutely as hard as they can. So you can usually expect in that last lap, 4 guys to come shooting off flicking off the front because they just can't. They're pushing wind so much, they can't hold that 30+ mile an hour pace for that long. So I wedge in behind the guy who I said I wouldn't follow, but stranger things happen. So trying to get a draft and then trying to see if I can move up a little bit here. And this is where something really sad happens. No, I don't go down, but my GoPro file corrupts, and I only have about a couple more seconds. But right as the end of this clip goes, boom, right there, you can see there is a huge gap. And I make the decision to bridge that gap right away. So I come out of this corner sprinting, and I cover it, and the 2 headwind guys here on the inside do not cover it. And so I move up into a group of about 4 guys off the front. From there, I think we stayed off until the final corner, and I ended up out sprinting this individual in the yellow jersey, not the Tour de France yellow jersey, just a yellow cycling kit, for 3rd place. And I will throw up an image.